We're all hustling. We're trying, girl. We're trying. Everyone's trying to. Yeah. Okay. But everyone's trying to survive.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Which is like where we're starting the story. It was literally about survival. It was literally about having my kid. And it was about realizing that the pipe dream that I thought was a pipe, like where I was like, I want to do this with my life. Like the dream that I thought was a privilege was actually, it was like the emergency hatch. Like it flipped in my mind where I'm like, oh, this isn't something that I'm going to do when the time is right. I have to do this because the economy is fucking tanking. Jobs, salaries are not rising to where I can give my child even a proximity of the life that my parents, who were salaried, could give me and my siblings. Same with my partner. Nothing is making sense anymore for the middle class in a way where you can work for a company. Like having a job has totally failed the public and abandoned us. And it's funny because we're Canadian, like this is supposed to be a socialist system, and we of all people know how it can look socialist on the outside and be completely capitalist in many, many ways, where the support systems aren't supporting. You know? My first big lesson was having River and realizing that even though I had paid into EI since I was 16 years old, I've been working since I was 16 years old.
Remind me, what's EI?
Employment insurance. So that is what people get here when they get fired from a job, when they get let go or they have no income. So long as you have or your employer have paid a portion into employment insurance, which is a tax that you pay the government, when it comes time for you to, if you don't have income, you file for it and you claim it from the government. You claim
severance.
No, severance is what a company gives you on your way out. So, severance is what a company gives you when they let you go by law so that you don't sue them. It's sometimes referred to within corporate circles as a package. When I was in corporate, I used to walk into my manager's office every morning and be like, hey. Is today the day you give me a package? And he's like, I'm not firing you, Danya. And I'm like, okay. We'll try again. We'll see next week.
Same time next week.
Same time next week. We'll see. And he, like, to give him credit, like, he found me likable, and I don't understand why. Because I clearly hated being there. I clearly did not want to be there anymore. I was clearly going through some shit. So severance is a package where a company that is letting you go, that you have worked and contributed to for a certain amount of time, usually has to be a few years. They give you a portion of your yearly salary on the way out. Because if you've gotten to a certain level of employment, you can't just find another equal job right away. So if you've risen through the ranks enough in a company, and they've taken, of course now, they don't do that shit anymore, right? So corporations were first created to take care of humans, and now corporations just eat humans for breakfast.
The funniest thing happened. See that hole?
Right? Like, we're disposable. Whereas the very idea of a corporation before was about building something together. So, like, salaries used to be much higher. There used to be a clear path to rise within the ranks. There used to be much better benefits. There used to be, like, again, like in the 50s, like post-war, they could have a house, a car, single income, buy all the appliances that they wanted, raise several kids, put their kids through college, buy them cars, on just a dad being a salaryman at a company.
I got a good job, a reliable Chevy, my favorite brand of smokes, even the milkman's a friendly fella.
Ma'am, what's a typical day for you?
Coffee, cleaning, cooking, and convincing my husband I'm not tired.
Domestic bliss, 1950s style.
And then in 30 years, you throw Bob a fucking retirement party. He gets a nice pension that has been invested. Super simple. It's like your whole life on automatic, right? So in that case, you can see how it would be very hard to leave a company and how you would have emotional ties to it too, right? Whereas now nobody gives a fuck, right? Like, it's like in one day, out the other. Like, I definitely hopped. many jobs. After that first time where I basically committed to one of the larger corporations, banking corporations in Canada, I sort of learnt my lesson as a millennial. And this was like in the mid 2000s where I was like, oh, this is not, if I stay loyal to this company, I will never have a home. I will never have a child. I'm not going anywhere. Because after 6 years of working for them, my salary hit $38.5 thousand a year before being taxed. I was literally making $17 an hour while investing hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, like fully meeting my $1 million investment quota as an account manager and as an investment advisor.
Millennials are growing up in a world in which companies offer no loyalty. That is not a meritocracy. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good a teammate you are. That if the company misses its arbitrary projections on the arbitrary date, you're out.
Salt in the wound to be in front of all those numbers and still compensated.
And the focus was always on credit, right? The focus was always like...
Because that's how banks make the most of their money.
Yes.
So let's talk about that switch in the economy to where we are now and how like we're taking a different route with our careers because those opportunities are less available.
Yes. So what happened with me was I got pregnant, and even though I've been paying into EI since I was 16 years old, I didn't qualify. I missed the 52-week yearly qualification of me paying into EI by 2 weeks of pregnancy because I had just started my career as an RMT, as a registered massage therapist, which was my dream job, and I went back to school for it, blah, 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 blah. Got pregnant right away, which I didn't anticipate, right? But I had been working a corporate job before temporarily, and I had paid into EI, and then how I just managed to left that job because it was an extremely toxic construction job that I couldn't do pregnant. And I was starting my career as a massage therapist, which ironically was great for me when I was pregnant, but because I'm a contractor, a sole proprietor, right? You know how like people keep telling me that it's better to be a sole proprietor? It's not. I was a sole proprietor, an RMT. I missed the cutoff for the 52 weeks, which is a year, when I got pregnant with River in March of that year. So I almost made it. If I had had River 2 weeks earlier, I would have still qualified for maternity leave.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. That's insane.
So it's true that I did not pay into EI for that year as a contractor, but the money that I had paid into the system, this socialist system that I totally believe in, I believe in this. I believe that it should be for everyone, actually. I don't understand these caveats and why they exist. Yes, I'm a contractor, but look how much money I have contribute to the system. At some point, everyone is going to contribute to the system. And like truly socialist countries like Germany and France and Norway, all mothers have maternity leave, paid maternity leave. They all have paternity leave. They all have government-sanctioned pelvic floor therapy after they give birth. You are essentially giving birth to the workers of the nation. And yet in North American culture, we have this idea of like, you should be having more babies, but fuck you when you do have them. Yeah. So it's like, okay, how am I supposed to feed this kid? And then to add more salt to the wound, I had to go back to being a massage therapist when my kid was 4 months old. My partner's contract ended with what they were doing, and it was the strike for an entire industry, for the entire film industry. Do you remember that, when there was that strike? So suddenly my partner, who does make a decent income, no income coming in. So I went back to work leaking milk. So it was 4 months. I literally had just recovered from my C-section. Like 16 weeks is the recovery period. And I went back to being a massage therapist. And in some ways it saved me because it meant that I had to engage my musculature and my pelvic floor. Like I wasn't mad about it in the physical sense, but I was mad about it that I had to leave my tiny nursing baby at home. Like I really resented leaving my little one at home. And it really was becoming apparent to us that that would be the only child we would have. And we're upper middle class. We, on paper, make really good money. And we were like, how do other people do this who are less fortunate? How do they have more than...
Everyone's surviving right now.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Insane.